The Iraqi Dinar Revaluation. Is the moment finally here? Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar RV, the channel where facts meet faith and where dinar holders stay informed, prepared, and ahead of the curve. Today's update could be the most important one yet. If you've been following the Iraqi dinar journey for any amount of time, you know the road has been long, full of rumors, false starts, and hopeful whispers, but something has changed. Over the last 24 hours, the buzz has intensified across platforms. Social media is lighting up. Telegram groups are bursting with messages. Forex traders are glued to their screens. And all eyes, surprisingly, are on a specific time and a very specific name, 5 o'clock p.m. in Wells Fargo. Let's unpack what's really going on. A surprising signal, what happened at 5 o'clock p.m. At precisely 5 o'clock p.m., traders and watchers noticed something strange. A new rate seemed to appear on some Forex platforms under the Iraqi Dinar, IQD. For most currencies, minor fluctuations happen all the time. It's the nature of the market. But what people saw this time wasn't just a slight change. It looked like a real shift in value, not a placeholder, not a glitch. Something deliberate. Within minutes, screenshots started surfacing in private groups. Forums exploded with comments. Some claimed to see values they hadn't seen before next to the IQD, numbers that hinted at a revaluation or a live test float. Could it have been a leak, a behind-the-scenes trial, or had the float quietly begun just as many had predicted? Why is 5 o'clock p.m. so important? This time is not just a coincidence. If you know how global financial systems work, you'll understand that big moves are often made when most people aren't watching at market close, over weekends, or during transition points. 5 o'clock p.m. is a unique window. Traders in the U.S. start wrapping up for the day. Banks shut their public operations but remain active internally. And central banks, that's often when they carry out quiet, strategic adjustments. It's a perfect opportunity to introduce rate changes without triggering immediate public panic or speculation. If you wanted to roll out a currency float or test exchange infrastructure, this would be the hour to do it. The Wells Fargo connection now, here's where it gets really interesting. Wells Fargo is not just another bank. It's one of the biggest and most influential financial institutions in the world. Over the years, its name has popped up in countless dinar discussions, sometimes through supposed leaks, sometimes from community sources claiming insider connections. This week, that name resurfaced again, louder than before. Several groups are reporting chatter that Wells Fargo could be participating in quiet testing procedures for dinar exchange protocols. No public statements have been released, but multiple sources suggest that the infrastructure is being prepped for Tier 1 banks to handle mass exchanges if, or when, the revaluation officially occurs. And let's be honest, banks like Wells Fargo don't waste time running simulations for fun. If there's even a hint that they're involved, that means serious groundwork is being laid. The concept of a float, and why it matters now, let's clear something up. When we talk about the dinar possibly floating, we don't mean a one-time overnight revaluation set in stone. A float means that the currency is allowed to rise or fall in value based on market demand. It's not pegged to a specific rate, but moves freely depending on investor confidence, geopolitical news, economic strength, and trading volume. And why does that matter? Because if what people saw at 5 o'clock p.m. was indeed the beginning of a float, it suggests that Iraq is finally ready to let the market decide the dinar's true value. And for those who believe the currency has long been undervalued, this is potentially historic. Iraq's economic preparation is no accident. For years, Iraq has taken calculated steps to reform its economy. They've worked with the IMF, reduced reliance on the US dollar, and pushed for de-dollarization. Internally, more and more transactions are being done in dinar. Oil contracts are being negotiated in alternative currencies. Foreign reserves have increased. Digital reforms are underway. These aren't the moves of a country that's unprepared. These are the signs of a nation rebuilding confidence in its sovereign financial system. And the float, if it's happening, is the next logical step in that journey. What rates are being discussed? Here's where the speculation gets wild, but not baseless. Historical data, past floats, Iraq's GDP, oil reserves, and purchasing power estimates all contribute to predictions that the dinar could settle somewhere between $3.00 and $4.25. Yes, you heard that right. While it may sound unbelievable, it's not without foundation. Before the 2003 conflict and the destabilization of Iraq's economy, the dinar traded at over $3.00. With the country's resources and long-term potential, many economists argue it still holds the capacity to return to those levels once stability is restored. So, if what people saw today was the first flicker of a new float, the final value could still be days or weeks away from stabilization. But the signs are unmistakable. The dinar community, from patience to potential, let's take a moment to recognize the dinar community. Through years of doubt, delays, and frustration, this group has remained hopeful. Quietly studying, investing, waiting, enduring waves of fake news, false gurus, and endless speculation. Today, for the first time in a long while, there's a different kind of energy in the air. Not hype, not clickbait, but data. Real traders saw real numbers, the Forex system moved, and Wells Fargo's name is swirling in the mix. This isn't just another rumor wave. This feels like the calm before the actual storm. So what should you do? Let's be clear. This is not the time to panic, nor to blindly trust any social media post you see. But it is the time to pay close attention. Here's what we recommend. 1. Watch Forex platforms, not just once, but regularly. Look for confirmed changes and screen record activity if you see something unusual. 2. Avoid scams. Don't fall for anyone promising instant exchange, crazy rates, or VIP group access for a fee. Stay grounded. 3. Check official sources. Keep an eye on statements from the Iraqi government, the CBI, and respected financial institutions. 4. Stay connected. Join credible forums, groups, and channels like Iraqi Dinar RV. Real-time updates matter now more than ever. 5. Prepare mentally and financially. If things do move forward, early days will be volatile. Have a plan, know your goals, know your limits. Final thoughts, is this the moment? No one can say for certain what the next 24 to 72 hours will bring. But something feels different, and in the dinar world, feeling matters. It's what has kept this community alive and focused for over a decade. Whether we're witnessing the official start of the dinar's float or just an early test, one thing is clear. The system is moving, and the world is watching. If you're holding dinar today, don't treat this as just another rumor cycle. Treat it as a signal to be alert, to verify information, and to prepare wisely. The pieces are lining up: timing, market signals, economic readiness, and institutional involvement. This is the moment you've waited for. Maybe not the final chapter, but the page is definitely turning. Stay tuned, stay smart, and stay with Iraqi Dinar RV, your front row seat to what could be the biggest currency shift of our lifetime. If you're feeling that buzz, that shift in energy, that collective anticipation, you're not alone. We're all watching the same screen, and we may just be watching history in the making. Disclaimer: this article is intended for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. The foreign exchange market is inherently risky and prone to misinformation. Consult with qualified professionals before making any investment decision. Iraqi Dinar RV is not liable for any losses or damages resulting from the use or reliance on this content.